All right, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Real quick, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can see more helpful videos just like this one. Don't be afraid to look through the channel and see through all of the videos that I am uploading because every single one of them is basically a online course. All these videos, if you were to put them together, it's basically an online course. And this is information that I've paid for and synthesized and all put together for your benefit. Take the time if you need healing, if you're lost and confused, take the time to look through the channel and watch the videos because you're not going to get your health back thinking the same way that you've been thinking and trying the same things that you've been trying. And that's what my videos are all about, is to just get things clicking again, because it took me a long time to heal my own body. And now I want to pass that along to you because I had to sort through a lot of the bullshit and I had to pay a lot of money to get to where I'm at now. And at the end of the day, I realized that I was my own worst enemy along the way because I was so closed off to the things that actually I'm now huge proponents of. So I didn't start off this way. I didn't start off as a crazy, wacky kook, or quack, whatever you want to call it. But now I'm super passionate about this stuff because I know that it works and because there's tons of problems everywhere. So today we're talking about the three biggest priorities that you need to focus on in order to begin healing. This is where I wish I would have started at the very beginning, or wish I would have paid more attention to, but it just felt like I was so lost. I was so confused. Everything was all over the place. But we need to come back down to ground. We need to come back down to earth and talk about the things that actually work for human beings. And they work on a principle level, on a systems level. So it doesn't matter if we're talking about your thyroid or your heart or your kidneys or your gut or any of that stuff. That does matter when it comes to actual advice for you. But on a general level, this is where we need to focus. It's on these three big things. And that is blood sugar, liver, and gallbladder. When I say liver, I'm almost always including gallbladder whenever I say liver. And stomach slash gut. But stomach, go back. I'll link my digestion video here. But go back and watch that video so that you can have a foundational understanding of why I'm talking about stomach, not necessarily jumping right to the gut like everyone's doing. Now, the gut is extremely important, don't get me wrong, but it's a tract, it's a one-way tract. If you don't understand that it's only going one way, then you're going to be focused on the end of the tract rather than the beginning, which is the stomach. Those are the big three things these are the pillars, the foundations, the things that need to be emphasized in order for you to heal. So going to the whiteboard, we find ourselves back with the triangle. Again, the triangle, it's like everything can be simplified down to a triangle. Maybe that's why it's one of the sacred shapes. But we're going to start with blood sugar. If your blood sugar is on a constant roller coaster, everything else downstream, including all your hormones that you're worried about, and especially your stress, is going to be completely out of whack. Your cortisol, your leptin, your insulin, all of the things that actually really matter and are the kings of the castle and the master and controller of all the other hormones, they're going to not be where they need to be. They're not going to be in balance where you can then actually start healing the other things that come downstream. So if you're on that blood sugar roller coaster, you're going to be experiencing things like energy dips, fatigue in the afternoon, maybe even when you get out of bed, you're just not feeling rested. brain fog. You'll be feeling that hormone imbalance, right? Where you just know something is off, but you're not really quite sure what it is. Then we're going to start moving into things like insulin resistance. If we don't get a handle on this, the big problems that ensue will be insulin resistant and chronic inflammation, the things that everybody blames or says are the root causes of disease, which is accurate to an extent, but we can go one step higher than that. But there's one more step behind it. Then we're going to have gut issues and liver issues as well. These are the problems of the blood sugar roller coaster. So you need to get off this up and down blood sugar roller coaster that you're having every single day that you're on. You need to hop off the ride because it is not doing you any favors. So how do we fix it? There's three really simple things that you are absolutely underestimating the power of when it comes to regulating your blood sugar. There's more than three, but number one, and you're going to see why all of this is connected. Because if you're on the blood sugar roller coaster, you can basically be assured that you're not breaking down your food appropriately, and that unbroken down food is moving through your gut and now causing the blood sugar issues. So you've probably heard of this one before. Number one, protein and fats at every meal. Protein and healthy fats. What are the healthy fats? We're talking animal-based fats, okay? Butter and ghee. Ghee is really good. Ghee is clarified butter, and it's really good if you're lactose intolerant. You should be able to tolerate ghee. It's basically magic for the gut, and it tolerates high heat really well. It's stable at high heat. Then we have the beef tallow and the pork lard, which I'm not a huge fan of. We have coconut oil and avocado oil. Avocado. Those are the healthy fats that you should be cooking with and using. Olive oil is great too. No problems there. So we'll put olive oil. But these animal fats are the stable fats. They're stable at high heat cooking. They're stable inside your body. And they're full of fat soluble nutrients, vitamins A, D, E, and K. All of the stuff that you really need to have appropriate bile function in your liver and gallbladder, to have all of those nutrients to be able to regulate and create those hormones that you're so concerned about. These are the fats that made us humans. Do not be afraid of these fats. It is as simple as that. You have been lied to when it comes to fats. Number two, stop snacking. Now, I know I've heard it before. I'm a grazer. I just eat little things throughout the day. That's wrecking your blood sugar. You need to stop doing that. It's wrecking your blood sugar and your other hormones. We need to focus on 2 to 3 meals a day of really nutrient dense, satiating foods. This is prioritizing protein and fats as well as carbohydrates that you tolerate. You may need to cut out the carbohydrates for a little bit. You may not. But if you're really struggling with lots of blood sugar highs and lows, it's time, and you've been eating you've been eating and including a lot of carbohydrates in your diet, it's time to cut the carbohydrates just for a little bit. We need to develop metabolic flexibility. You need to be able to use both carbohydrates and fats. And you do need to give up carbs in order to improve this. If you have eaten nothing but carbs and processed food, like most Americans have for most of their lives. So no snacking. Your master hormones really do not like snacking. Your number one master hormone, leptin, really hates snacking. It doesn't want it, and it really doesn't help the situation. Eat satiating meals. This means get your nutrients in, get your protein and your fats. Start there. Protein and fats first, and then carbs. This is the easy way to get that sense of satiety. Satiety is ultimately what we want. Yes, in order to lose weight and that kind of thing, we want a calorie deficit. But the key is, how do you accomplish a calorie deficit without feeling like you're absolutely starving? And maybe, honestly, a calorie deficit is not what you need right now. It just depends. But this is the way we need to start thinking in order to get back down to ground and actually make progress in health. So that was a long-winded way of saying no snacking. The simple walk after meal. This is so underestimated, but simply going for a short walk after your meals can blunt whatever, doesn't matter what you eat, will blunt your blood sugar spike and allow your body to actually be able to digest your food and allow things to be processed efficiently. So we'll get off this roller coaster instead of it being an up and down roller coaster, or instead of your blood sugar looking like this right after a meal, maybe it looks a little less pronounced. Maybe it's something a little bit more like this. That is definitely something that we want to prioritize if you're in the beginning stages of your health or reclaiming your health, right? I'm going to throw in a fourth one here. This is one that you'll see me talk about and emphasize almost every single video, probably. Morning sunlight. Morning sunlight is how you regulate those master hormones, kick on your digestion for the day. The light is actually what gives the cue to your brain and your gut and keeps that structure so that you can actually operate as a human and eat your food. And if you've tried all the supplements and you've done all the things and you haven't done morning sunlight and circadian rhythm stuff, that's the piece that you're missing. So morning sunlight and block blue light at night, that always goes hand in hand. Whenever I say circadian rhythm, these are the two biggest things that you could focus on when it comes to circadian rhythm, is morning sunlight and blocking blue light at night. So those are tips on how to fix your blood sugar. Now, this is a little side note, once we really get your blood sugar, we've given maybe a break that you've needed and we've done some deeper work, then you can start including healthful carbohydrate sources like fruits, maybe even some well-sourced whole grains. I know, don't crucify me, but healthful grains are out there. We look at Italy, we look at France, they're eating pasta, they're eating their healthful grains that they've eaten for centuries, and they have way better health than we do. They have a place, they have room. It always comes down to the quality. We need to move away from the dogma of eating like cavemen and paleo people, and we need to allow ourselves the freedom to include healthful grains, fruits, and enjoy the variety that God has created for us. So grains, fruits, sweet potatoes, all of those are fantastic sources of carbohydrate because they come in honey and maple syrup as well. They come in a package. This is the nuance that you need to understand. They come packaged with other nutrients. They're not isolated and processed to be just one thing. They're in balance. Once you get to the stage where you can start reincorporating carbohydrates, or you have been able to incorporate carbohydrates all along, those are the ones that you want to focus on. Healthful fruits, honey, maple syrup, dairy if you tolerate it. There's nuance to that as well, but it always comes down to the quality of your food. The last little note I want to leave you with, this is a very basic thing, something that will guide you for the rest of your life. Protein is structure. Protein builds your muscle. It is involved in transporter cells and creating new cells and all kinds of things. So protein is not just your muscle, but it's a lot of the function inside. So protein is structure and function as well. Fat and carbs both equal energy. So these are your fuel sources. You can say fuel here. So when we're talking about weight loss and healing and blood sugar regulation, emphasize protein that you digest well, And that's a big piece of the protein picture here. If you're not digesting your protein well, you're going to have blood sugar issues and you're going to put more work on the liver. So make sure that you tolerate the protein, reconnect to your body. Just use your intuition and say, I know this doesn't work for me. That's fine. That is okay. Your fat and your carbs are your fuel. So when you combine fat and carbs, you're really filling up the tank. What we need to do is fix the underlying reasons behind your metabolism issues so that you can have some fat and carbs and have balanced meals. But this is the explanation for why people go high carb and lose weight, or go high fat and lose weight. So you go high fat and low carb, or you go low carb, high fat, but you always have your protein. This is going to this can get you quick results. But eventually we want to get back to where we can have balanced meals. We can honor the tradition, our human tradition. If you look back at just traditional foods 100 years ago, they were eating balanced meals and they didn't have any of the obesity or anything like that. Just keep this in mind if you are in a state of struggle, right? Someone navigating health issues is going to have different problems than someone who doesn't necessarily have health issues and can just dive right into eating steak and meat and fruit and raw dairy and all that stuff. That's great, but it's different. And sometimes you need to build up to be able to tolerate something like that. And that was true for myself. So protein is always going to be the structure that's going to rebuild your body. It's nutrient dense, it's satiating so that you don't feel snacky. Give yourself real meals. Eat until you're full. Prioritize the protein and eat it until you're full. You'll find it much easier to resist snacking and not feel like you have to just put something constantly into your body. I'll leave that up. So to sum up blood sugar, if you get irritable and shaky and hangry, you don't have a willpower problem, you have a blood sugar problem, which very much means that you probably have some liver issues and some digestion issues. So let's go to the liver. So your liver is your master detoxifier and hormone creator, regulator, all kinds of that good stuff. So we need to emphasize liver health. It's responsible for over 500 functions in the body. There's no machine, no matter how advanced we've gotten with modern medicine, the liver is the one thing that we do not have a machine to be able to do everything that the liver does. Ancient cultures would say, as the liver goes, so the health goes. So your liver is absolutely crucial, and supporting it is fundamental. And this doesn't just mean do a liver detox. Okay, fine. If that's what you want to do, it can be helpful, but just supporting it in general every single day by following this structure is really what's going to give you that bang for your buck and save you money so that you don't have to constantly be doing liver detoxes and then going back to your shitty lifestyle and buying detox teas and all that nonsense. So the problem is that things like processed food, environmental toxins, and medications all can have harmful effects on liver function. We'll call it a sluggish liver. Remember, we are exposed to what we know right now is 120,000 toxins, environmental toxins in our air, water, and food that previous humans throughout history were never exposed to. This is new territory. Modern problems require some modern solutions to an extent, but at least a modern way of looking at it. So your liver absolutely needs support, whether you want to do that through food or whether you want to do that through some really good supplementation. Poor bile flow leads to digestive issues, sluggish metabolism, and toxic burden. Those toxins are eliminated through your liver and gallbladder. They are put into the bile and then put into the gut to then be eliminated. This is why things like binders are extremely effective when it comes to addressing chronic health challenges. So this is why we need to address the liver. Let's talk about how to do it. We talked about some of these things in the previous video. We're going to revisit bitter food. I can't emphasize this enough. We have bitter herbs. These can be called digestive bitters that actually stimulate hydrochloric acid production in the stomach, help break down your food, help your bile with your bile flow, all kinds of amazing stuff. So we have herbs like dandelion, and we have foods such as beets and arugula. I know beets aren't bitter necessarily, but beets contain betaine, which is the most powerful nutrient you could possibly have for better bile flow in your gallbladder. So we're addressing so many things with just these simple changes and simple additions. Nutritionally, we want to include things that have choline in them. So this means egg, liver, like beef liver, things that are the most nutrient dense foods on the entire planet. And if you remember or saw my last video talking about liver health, I mentioned that you want your egg yolks. The yolk is the part that has the most choline, and you want that to be as raw as possible. Have some sunny side up eggs on some sourdough toast, all kinds of amazing options you have when it comes to getting choline. Beef liver, you can supplement with liver, you can eat pre-packet, or you can eat the ground beef that has liver and kidney in it and heart, or liver and heart usually is what it is. Sometimes it includes kidney. That is extremely effective. And the last rule is to properly hydrate. You have been misled about what hydration actually is. Hydration is not just chugging a bunch of as much water as you possibly can. You can actually be causing more issues. Drinking as much water as you possibly can doesn't necessarily mean you're hydrated. It just means that you're drinking water and it may just be running through you. And that especially becomes important when we're talking about or we're discussing the filtration of the water that you're using. If you're using distilled water and you're drinking distilled water, which you can do, and I did that for some time because it's truly distilled is the cleanest that you can get. But you must remineralize it. You have to add back minerals, or else it's just running right through you. And you will get to the point if you drink enough distilled water where you're just running to the bathroom all the time. And you can literally, I got to the point where I was taking a sip and having to run to the bathroom because it was not sticking. It wasn't actually going into my cells, which is what proper hydration actually is. So real hydration involves electrolytes and glucose. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to drink juice or anything like that, but juices are incredibly hydrating. Things like orange juice, pomegranate juice, cranberry juice, high quality juices, not the concentrate. The stuff that is as close to I squeezed a piece of fruit and got the juice out of it. That is truly hydrating. You also want to make sure you're getting enough salt. Water follows salt. Salt is one of the most sodium. When I say salt, I'm specifically talking about sodium in this context. Water follows sodium into the cell. So you don't just need sodium, you need the other electrolytes as well. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. All of those are crucial to the whole picture of hydration. Raw milk is very hydrating as well. It's God's perfect food. And I'm not talking about drinking milk from a conventional dairy. I would never, ever do that. I'm talking about from your local farm that does really high quality work and creates incredible products. So that is the picture of hydration. Your liver absolutely needs it. It's the only way that we can flush the crap out. So your liver is like a drain and it's getting backed up. So it needs some help in order for that everything to flow through it as it's supposed to. So if your digestion is sluggish, like if you have any digestive issues, if you have low energy, if your skin is breaking out, or if you feel inflamed, your liver needs some nourishment. It needs some real support. not just from detox teas, from real whole food nutrition and herbal support if needed. All right, let's move over to the stomach and the guts. Remember, you are what you absorb. You are also what you eat eats. So it matters what your cattle eat or what your beef eats. It matters what your chickens eat. It matters what for your eggs and for your chicken meat. It matters what the animals that you're eating are eating. It's then passed into you. We know this now. It's just a verifiable, objective fact. And to ignore that is just straight stupid. There are incredible people out there doing incredible work and doing the hard work, and we need to support them. And these are your local farmers. I can help you get set up with a delivery so that this is part of your system, right? Where you're setting up your systems for success. You're getting the food without even really having to think about it. It's just getting delivered to your doorstep. You're supporting American farmers and you're benefiting the community, the environment. You're having positive impact that's rippling through the network of society. This is real health because it's not just you, it's a bunch of other things involved. What goes wrong with digestion? I would encourage you to revisit my digestion video. That is a really foundational look at everything going wrong with your stomach and your gut and how to just think about that so that you can fix the problem. But the problems that we're encountering are low stomach acid, gut dysbiosis, which is a fancy way of saying the bacteria and the whole ecosystem inside your gut is out of balance, processed foods, and stress. When I say stress, I'm referring to the three forms of stress: mental, physical, chemical, which is toxic exposures and that kind of thing, environmental toxins, and nutrient deficiencies, and physical, which is structure, the actual structure of your musculoskeletal system, your nerves, your bones, your muscles. All of it is interconnected, and we can address all of it with simple systems and simple habits. So these are the main problems that we're encountering. Low stomach acid from stress, from processed foods. The processed foods are destroying our gut lining and causing gut dysbiosis, bacterial overgrowth, fungal overgrowth. So we have SIBO, SIFO, all kinds of downstream problems, IBS, all of the diagnoses and conditions that you are not stuck with. You can heal. It's just a matter of understanding what the problem is and taking the right action to then resolve it. So how do we fix our stomach acid? There's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of crossover. This is a good thing. That means, bitter foods and bitter herbs are not only good for the liver and the gallbladder, but they're good for the stomach as well. So with simply including things like bitter herbs and bitter foods, you are helping with your stomach, your low stomach acid, and your liver issues. So we're getting benefit. This is the incredible complexity that comes with herbs and whole food nutrition. It's so good for everything. It's almost difficult to narrow it down as to what exactly it's good for. Because my answer, you're like, what is it good for? My answer is everything. It's actually fantastic. It makes things a lot simpler. So we have ways to increase your stomach acid, such as apple cider vinegar, ACV, digestive bitters, and this is a big one here, salt. That says SAH. Salt. Salt is huge. What is salt? Salt is sodium chloride, hydrochloric acid. Chloride is a huge aspect to your stomach acid. And I'm not just talking about any salt. I'm talking about good, real, natural salt that has no microplastics, ideally, is tested for heavy metals, all kinds of very important things that once you identify and you know which salt to get, then you can just go back to living your life, salting your food and feeling amazing, replenishing your minerals, all kinds of good stuff. This is the salt that I personally use, Baja Gold, for all of my salting needs. It's incredible. I put a pinch in every single glass or bottle of water that I drink, and it really assists in just feeling hydrated. It actually changes it for the better how the water tastes, and my body just gulps it down. So I know that when I'm feeling dehydrated, I need not only water, but I need minerals. And minerals are the foundation. So if you get a good salt like that, you're getting the full spectrum of minerals and benefiting all of your physiological processes that require the minerals, but especially the salt, the sodium chloride, which is one of the main components of how to build your stomach acid. You want to prioritize whole, unprocessed food. These are foods in their most natural state, foods that have been butchered from an animal, pulled out of the ground, or pulled off of a tree or plant. And nothing has been done to them besides that. That is basically organic food. There's lots of further details when it comes to organic food. There's lots of problems with it, but it's the best that we can do right now. So don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Start doing better things for yourself today, because as soon as you start taking that action, just that positive action will build that good momentum, and you can start getting better and better. That's why it's called a journey, because you don't just dive in and everything is perfect from that point on. That's absolutely not how it works. You can ask anybody who's gone on any healing journey. So whole natural foods, things that are easy to digest and very hydrating for the body, tend to be fruits, sweet potatoes, those kinds of things. So you want to emphasize those very easily digestible energy sources, because we need more energy ultimately to help the body heal. And the body gets energy from food and other places like morning sunlight. This is a super basic groaner here, but chew your food. Slow down. Allow yourself to enjoy a meal. Stop shoving your face every single time you're eating. One of the best things that I like to do is simply pray over my meal and help relax myself, get into the mental state of, okay, I'm ready to consume some food, digest it, and get the benefits out of it. So don't underestimate just simple things to actually be able to extract what you need out of the food. Digestion starts in your mouth, where your saliva is actually breaking it down. It starts technically in your brain, but in your mouth is where the food actually starts to get mechanically and chemically broken down. So we absolutely need to do that. Pro tip: stop chugging a bunch of water when you are eating. That's some of the worst advice. If you are chugging a bunch of water when you're eating, you're diluting your stomach acid and interfering with your ability to actually the food down. So we don't want to chug a bunch of water with our meal, right before our meal, or right after our meal. It's okay to have water with your meal, but just take it in sips. Listen to your body. Your body is really good at telling you when it's thirsty. It's actually telling me that I'm thirsty right now. Little bonus here: fermented food. Fermented foods are fantastic for your gut health. They take the place of any kind of probiotic, unless you really need a specific intervention when it comes to probiotics. But building up to fermented foods, including small amounts with your meals, is going to help with your stomach, your gut, your liver, and your blood sugar. This is one of the reasons that apple cider vinegar helps with your blood sugar and your liver and all the things. Every single one of these benefits the other. So these are strategies that are particular for certain things, but as a side benefit, they impact all the other things in the structure, in the system. And this is how to get your health back on track on the easiest mode possible. All right, guys, as you've been able to see, this is how you get on the upward spiral. You can take a step today to start getting on the upward spiral and start fighting your conditions and fighting for your health today. Start implementing these things. Stop being afraid of the food that God created for us, and start listening to your body, not what anyone else is really telling you to do. You probably need different things, but there are fundamental underlying principles that we do need to focus on. At the end of the day, we're all human, and you need good, proper nutrients and nutrition that then become energy so that you can overcome your conditions and diagnoses and all of the things. To recap the big mindset shift, most people are trying to hack their way to health. To recap here, most people are trying to hack their way to health. They're looking for one tiny little thing that's going to be the big change that they need. It doesn't exist. But when you start using frameworks and strategies and systems like this, that's when you're going to start to really feel the impacts and see the impacts in your health and wellness and just sense of well-being. You're going to get your energy back. You're going to be able to eat foods that you enjoy, that are still helpful for you. You're going to be able to avoid brain fog and all of the good things that just come down as a positive consequence of taking care of your body. If you don't do these three first, you are not considering the long-term impacts on your health and the long-term wellness that you want to create. This is where you need to start. So instead of chasing symptoms and trying to push things down over here, and what about this over there, and what about my this or that, let's focus on building a strong foundation. And this will bleed over and into having positive and lasting changes in your health. So look at your daily habits. Are you including strategies like these? I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to lie to you and say, because depending on where you are in your journey, I don't know. I'm not going to say that all of this is going to magically fix you, but it will launch you on a very beneficial path for your entire health journey, rather than trying to pick things apart and look at individual things and trying to put all the pieces together. Let's zoom out and focus on these fundamentals. Are you implementing things like these in your daily habits? Can you start, or are these things keeping you stuck and lost and confused? Look at your daily habits. Are you stabilizing your blood sugar? Are you supporting your liver, your drain? Are you eating nourishing foods for your body, your mind, your soul, and your gut? Or is it these things that are keeping you stuck, lost and confused, tired and drained? If this resonated with you and you're ready to take the plunge and dive on in and focus on real healing and really get a jump start on your journey, I offer functional health breakthrough calls where we will find out and go over the exact strategies and systems that you need to focus on in your body and your habits and lifestyle to really kickstart your journey. So click the link below if you're ready to make real changes. Remember to like and subscribe, and always keep in mind that your body wants to heal. Keep asking questions, keep pushing, keep digging, keep going. I'll see you in the next video.